You. Let's go.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Kim Egbert, clerk for the FCRC. Before we get started with today's proceedings, I'd like to confirm that everyone can hear me clearly. Today's meeting is being held via Microsoft Teams conference call, and we ask that all attendees announce their name for the record each time they speak on the call for ease of transcription. If you are not speaking, we ask that you mute your microphone to avoid background noises during the call. Only one person should be speaking at any given time. I will direct should there be any conflict. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Thank you, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Bill Heinzen. I'm the chair of the Franchise and Concession Review Committee. This remote public meeting of the FCRC will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor?
Here, Bill Heinzen.
Office of the Mayor?
Malcolm Kane here.
Controller?
Christian Stover here.
Corporation Counsel?
Amrita Barth here.
Office of Management and Budget?
Sorry, Yvonne Kintian here.
President Borough of the Bronx?
Tom Lucania here.
President Borough of Brooklyn?
Don Douglas present.
President Borough of Manhattan?
Tommy Vest present.
President Borough of Queens?
Alan Swisher present.
President Borough of Staten Island? Let the record reflect President Borough of Staten Island is not present.
Okay, thanks very much. Will you please call the first calendar item?
New York City Department of Transportation calendar item number 1. In the matter of the intent to seek Franchise and Concession Review Committee approval of a proposed amendment to the franchise agreement between the City of New York by and through its Department of Transportation and J.C. Deco Street Furniture New York LLC to install, operate, and maintain bus stop shelters, self-cleaning automatic public toilets, and public service structures, and to install and maintain newsstands in the boroughs of the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. The proposed franchise agreement is requesting to extend the term of the agreement by 5 years and incorporate additional rights and responsibilities, including without limitation, an increase in the overall number of bus shelters and automatic public toilets that the company may install, maintain, and operate, and the modification of certain revenue requirements applicable to the company.
Excuse me. There have been some changes to the concession documents. These have been distributed to the committee members, and we'll now ask DOT to read those changes into the record.
Thank you, Chair Heinzen. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Craven. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Cityscape and Franchises at New York City DOT. After considering the comments made at the public hearing and testimony submitted, the city is making the following changes to the proposed amendment. In section 2.5.3.3a, the amendment makes 5 references to 60 Schedule Y bus shelters. The city is changing the number 60 to the number 43 in all 5 places to reflect the changes to Schedule Y, which I will explain shortly. The rest of section 2.5.3.3a will remain the same. The final sentence of section 9.2.2 shall now read as follows. In addition, for each such year of the term, the city shall receive A, 50% of annual gross revenues in excess of $105 million, B, 52.5% of annual gross revenues in excess of $150 million, and C, 55% of annual gross revenues in excess of $200 million. The final sentence of section 9.2.3 shall now read as follows. In addition, for each such year of the term, the city shall receive 50% of annual gross revenues in excess of $110 million, B, 52.5% of annual gross revenues in excess of $150 million, and C, 55% of annual gross revenues in excess of $200 million. In Schedule C, the city will make the following changes. The cash component for year 17 shall now be $64,401,000. The cash component for year 18 shall now be $63,834,000. The cash component for years 19 and 20 shall now be $49,316,000. The cash component for years 21 through 25 shall now be $34,316,000. The total cash component for years 1 through 25 shall now be $1,337,336,000. Footnote 2 will now read as follows. In addition, the city shall receive A, 50% of annual gross revenues in excess of $105 million, B, 52.5% of annual gross revenues in excess of $150 million, and C, 55% of annual gross revenues in excess of $200 million. Footnote 3 will now read as follows. In addition, the city shall receive 50% of annual gross revenues in excess of $110 million, B, 52.5% of annual gross revenues in excess of $150 million, and C, 55% of annual gross revenues in excess of $200 million. Finally, we're removing 17 locations from Schedule Y. 5th Avenue between 58th Street and 59th Street, 5th Avenue and 59th Street, 5th Avenue between 61st Street and 62nd Street, 5th Avenue and 65th Street, 5th Avenue between 66th Street and 67th Street, 5th Avenue between 68th Street and 69th Street, 5th Avenue and 71st Street, 5th Avenue between 74th Street and 75th Street, 5th Avenue between 76th Street and 77th Street, 5th Avenue and 79th Street, 5th Avenue and 84th Street, 5th Avenue between 86th Street and 87th Street, 5th Avenue between 89th Street and 90th Street, Madison Avenue between 72nd Street and 73rd Street, Madison Avenue between 74th Street and 75th Street, Madison Avenue between 77th Street and 78th Street, and Madison Avenue between 83rd Street and 84th Street. And those are all the changes that I have. Thank you again.
Thank you, Assistant Commissioner Craven. At this point, does any member want to ask a question or make a statement pertaining to this calendar item?
Bill, the comptroller's office would like to make a statement.
Please.
Hi, this is Christian Stover from the comptroller's office. Today's franchise agreement will secure more bus shelters and public toilets that will improve basic public infrastructure for New Yorkers. While JC2Go should not have withheld their rent for public space over the last 2 years, we appreciate their willingness to negotiate with our office to provide an additional $2 million base payment and additional revenue sharing to the city as part of today's deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Any other member wish to make a statement at this time? Okay, hearing none. May I please have a motion to move this item for a vote? Sorry, is there a motion to move? You said yes, Amrita
move to
from the
vote.
Law Department.
To move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, will you please call the vote?
Mayor,
Yes.
Office of the Mayor,
Yes.
Controller,
Yes.
Corporation Counsel,
Yes.
Office of Management and Budget,
Yes.
President Borough of Queens.
Yes.
Calendar item number 1, resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you please call the second calendar item?
New York City Mayor's Office of Contract Services calendar item number 2, in the matter of proposed changes to the administrative procedures of the Franchise and Concession Review Committee, FCRC. The proposed changes, which have previously been distributed to the committee, incorporate feedback from agencies and committee members and are being presented here for adoption by the FCRC.
Excuse me. Okay, thank you. Does any member wish to make a statement or ask a question about this matter? Okay, hearing none, could I please have a motion to move?
Tom
There a
Lucania,
motion?
so moved.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
Malcolm Kane, I second the motion.
Thank you. Will you please call the vote?
Mayor,
Yes.
Office of the Mayor,
Malcolm Kane, yes.
Controller,
Yes.
Corporation Counsel,
Yes.
Office of Management and Budget,
Yvonne Kintian, yes.
President Borough of Queens.
Yes.
Calendar item number 2, resolution is adopted.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. Will you please call the third calendar item?
New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene calendar item number 3, in the matter of the intent to seek franchise and concession review committee approval pursuant to section 116 of the concession rules of the City of New York to utilize a different procedure to enter into an amendment to an existing concession agreement with Optum Rx Discount Card Services LLC to develop, operate, and administer the NYC Drug Discount Card Program available to all New York City residents. The amendment will extend the expiration date of the concession agreement from December 31st, 2021 to June 30th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Does any member have a question about this item or do they wish to make a statement? Okay, hearing none. May I please have a motion to move this for a vote?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Malcolm Kane, I second the motion.
Thank you. Will you please take the vote?
Mayor,
Yes.
Office of the Mayor,
Malcolm Kane, yes.
Controller,
Yes.
Corporation Counsel,
Yes.
Office of Management and Budget,
Yes.
President Borough of Queens.
Yes.
Calendar item number 3, resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. Will you please call the fourth and final calendar item?
New York City Department of Small Business Services calendar item number 4, in the matter of the intent to seek franchise and concession review committee approval pursuant to section 116 of the concession rules of the City of New York to utilize a different procedure to negotiate a significant sole source interim concession agreement with First Flight Heliports LLC, doing business as Saker Aviation Services, to provide for the operation of the downtown Manhattan heliport. It is anticipated that this agreement would provide for 1 6-month term with 2 6-month options to renew at the discretion of SBS. This agreement intends to keep DMH operational while SBS solicits a new heliport operator via a 113 request for proposals.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from any of the members of the committee or would anyone like to make a statement?
Hi, Bill. The Comptroller's Office would like to make a statement on this item as well.
Please.
Thank you. The non-essential helicopter trips from the downtown Manhattan heliport may be convenient for busy executives, leisure travelers, and sightseers, and reduce the time it takes to get from Wall Street to private jets at Teterboro. But the constant noise and carbon emissions make many residents of Manhattan and Brooklyn miserable, and it generates very little revenue for the City of New York. Rather than continuing operations, we should allow the city's contract with downtown Manhattan heliport to expire and repurpose the space for a less noxious and more sustainable use. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any other member have a comment that they'd like to make for the record? Or are there any questions?
This is Tommy Vest from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I second the statement that was made by Mr. Stover and the comptroller.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that from the Manhattan Borough President. Any other questions or comments from the committee at this time? Okay, if not, Kim, will you please call the vote?
We need someone to make a motion.
Sorry, I apologize. at this time, may I please have a motion to move this item to a vote? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. From the Law Department, is there a second?
Malcolm Kane, I second the motion.
Thank you. At this time, Kim, will you please call the vote?
Mayor,
Yes.
Office of the Mayor,
Malcolm Kane, yes.
Controller,
No.
Corporation Counsel,
Yes.
Office of Management and Budget,
Yes.
President Borough of Manhattan.
No.
With a vote of 4-2, calendar item number 4, resolution is adopted. We ask that the reporter make the entire public meeting agenda, which was made publicly available and distributed at this meeting, part of the final record of this proceeding. That completes the calendar.
Okay, thank you everyone for being here today. Thanks to the team at Mox for putting this all together. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank